And today we are talking about what you should expect to get if you're hiring a mentor, you're hiring a coach, you're hiring anyone to help you. You're joining a mastermind, you're joining whatever it is. You know, maybe it's Grow Comm, my group. Maybe it's Apex, another group I'm a part of, or one of the other many millions of business groups, or masterminds, or hiring a coach. I've got several. If you're going down that road, what you should be trying to do, and why you would try to do that, is you're trying to compress the time frame it's going to take you to get from here to there. That's why I've went down this road. That's why I've done all of these things, and they've all been helpful in some way. But the biggest fear, the biggest holdback, like with everyone, I just got a message last night on Facebook, and someone asked me with Grow Comm, what can I expect to get out of all of this? Well, I'm going to dig into more of this and some context, but I'm going to get right to this from the beginning. So if it pisses you off, then you can go on about your business and watch something else. You can expect to get exactly what you put in. If you don't put in shit, you will not get out shit. Now, that's not to say that every single thing out there brings value. Yes, there's some things out there that I'm sure you could buy, that I'm sure you could get involved with, whether it be courses or coaching or whatever, that you're like, man, this isn't for me and I don't want to spend the money on it. And I totally get it. That's right. There are things that way. There are things that you can vibe with really well and that other people can't. Same thing. Everyone's got a lane that they can jump in and that they can fly down, where others just couldn't do a thing. And so in business, you really got to find where it is that you get the most stuff from. But when I say you can only get what you put in, that's all you can expect, it's because people get in and they don't go all in. Like, I'm a perfect example. I get in groups and I've got a lot of stuff going on. Apex is a group I'm a part of, and I don't utilize stuff as much as I should. I'm actively doing more and more and more all the time to make sure I'm utilizing it. We're utilizing the network, being involved in the group. I always went to the fly-ins. I always go to all the events, but there's so much more. There's so much more depth than that. But I know how easy it is to get involved and not take any action and then say, this doesn't work. I've been in enough to realize that's not the case. I would never say that about what I'm in, because I can realize my lack of ability to go all in on certain things if I was expecting more, right? But the common tendency is to be like, well, that's bullshit. That doesn't work. That's not real. These people are expecting magical answers that make them rich or super successful like this. What all of this is, whether it be your mentor, whether it be your personal business coach, whether it be the conference, the group, whatever, there's just going to be little sprinklings of nuggets here and information there and just all over the course of time. But what it takes is your involvement. So when you don't have much involvement, when you don't pay much attention, when you don't take notes, and you don't get the actionable items and then implement on them, you're not going to get shit. On top of that, a lot of people will get all excited and get rah-rah, which that's nice, that's good, that's a great feeling and emotion. But ultimately, emotions don't really take you that far. All of this excitement doesn't really take you this far, this motivation. What takes you far is getting the thing that oh man, if I implement that, it'll make my company better. And then actually taking action on it. But people don't take action on things. People want the result. People want to be wealthy. People want to be successful. People want to be fit. They want to say that they will be. Unfortunately, people don't like what it takes to get those things. People don't like the actual work in between A and between B. It's the same as people saying, I want to earn more money. And you give them more and more and more responsibility, and eventually they're like, I don't want this at all. They want the more money, they don't want the responsibility and the things that come along with it. It's so common because we want a thing that we think looks awesome until we figure out what that thing takes to get there and what it's like to live in that moment. Like, there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that would 100% maybe think that I've got an awesome life in the lawn care and landscape industry. And I think I do have an awesome life, and I'm super stoked about my family, the things we do, the business, all the things. But I can guarantee if you had to walk in my shoes, there are things that you would hate. And that's just because it's taken me a long time to build up the resilience to be able to even do what I do now. There's things that fall on my table all the time that I'm like, whoa, how are we going to deal with this? And I know from experience, I'm not saying you're less than. I know from experience that when I started, if I had to do what I do today, I would just wake up and fucking cry every day because it's hard and there's stuff that's scary. And then there's times where I feel like I'm risking everything. And I'm someone who goes and tries to hit a home run every time. I don't just make sure I connect. I'm trying to nail it out of the park. I know that There's things I do in my life that, man, you're going 50-50 chance that that's a huge fucking problem if you don't make it, right? But there's a lot of times I'm just willing to get up and take bat either way. It's just the way I'm wired. I think it comes from racing and it comes from all of these other things. I know that I wouldn't have been able to handle that when I first started. And there's a lot of people that think the things look cool now, and if you had to do the things I do, you wouldn't like it either, right? But it takes time, it takes building, and all of this. It just takes commitment. Any of this takes commitment. If I get on a phone call with my mentor, a business coach, whatever, I might be spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month just to communicate with that person. I know that not every phone call is going to be like just a rain of ideas that I'm going to implement and take ideas and action on. I know there's going to be times where I'm just like, hey, that was a good chat, it was a great connection, but I can't take something from that one call. So you can't expect there to be gold in every single second of every single word. I have realized through going to all these things that even if you go to something that you need to be able to get the most out of this, you need to be able to find even the good in the bad. Meaning those situations you get into. I had a really shitty deal when I first started in business. I hired a business coach. There was some positives, but ultimately I was like, this is ridiculous. The second he told me to lower my rates, I was like, whoa, dude, I'm not gonna do that. But I learned how to, even if it wasn't what I wanted to be, I learned how to judge and critique someone that I wanted to follow and learn from in the future. So even in the bad, you get some good, you get to learn. And this is another mindset about this, that even in the stuff, the things you pay for that are shitty, you're still learning something every single time. You can bring a lot of value to yourself, your company, your team, your life, just based off of that. So that is what you should expect to get out of these things, these events, these people. You should expect to get what you put in. And even when you put in 100%, the thing isn't that great of a deal. You learn how to evaluate the future. And wisdom and intelligence comes from experience. A lot of this shit you can't write in a book. You gotta live it.